Live-ish. Let me share this out here while I welcome everyone to the video on demand. This is episode 191 of the Crystal Chronicles, recorded on March 24th, 2022. I'm Mark, and I'm joined by Mino Spogit, and we are here to bring you all of your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia news and talk. Do give us a like, sub, ring the bell for notifications. Become a member on YouTube. Leave a comment below. And if you want to hang out here for the post-show or pre-show, please do. If not, you can skip ahead to the intro. And that's when the show will officially start. Jovial Roger and Shadowheart, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream on the YouTube. I see you. Two of our members, Raylos Pendragon. Good day to you as well. Martyr, another YouTube member. Welcome. How you doing today? Remember, YouTube membership is only 99 cents. Get some exclusive videos. Well, I still make videos. Emotes, priority stuff, special things in Discord, and other random stuff. See, Sam! Reckless Harlot, how are we doing over on Twitch? Unite our Twitch subbers. You can sub on Twitch and get similar things. Joey, how we doing? Life Stream DFFOO. Raw Life Onyx says hi. Hi, Onyx. Support your dreams. Support your dreams. Do what you need to survive. Fight the fight. Stuff about DFFOO. Stuff about other stuff. Soraya the Ranger. Watch out. Oh, cracking that ice cold beverage. Can't say it on air because the stream ain't sponsored. Leaf Blade Mouse. Taxes have been sent. Woo! That was quick. Mine will take much longer. Oh, doing your taxes is for suckers. Hey kids, do your taxes. Don't be like Raw Life. I don't want to kick that can down the road. Got some stories about that. But Fen Ragnarok, would you have a drink with snow in Setzer's airship? Oh yes, there is trivia today. The pre-show trivia brought to you by Poto Cedar. Poto Cedar for all your TCC intern needs. Which Final Fantasy character would Mark have a drink with, and in which Final Fantasy world would they have it in? Now, I think that maybe this was answered by both Mino and myself, or maybe I just gave two answers. I don't know. But yeah, which Final Fantasy character would I have a drink with, and in which Final Fantasy world would they have it in? Poto sent me this earlier today, and it was worded much differently to make it sound like it was asking which Final Fantasy character would I do and where would I do them. So that's another question you can play at home. That's your own TCC After Dark, the board game. Oh, Goose! Sounded like a High Life. It was not. It is a non-alcoholic beverage. Non-alcoholic beverage. I have already had one glass of wine today. So, man, Carflow says, felt like TCC just happened yesterday. When you're part of the Crystal Chronicles family, Carflow, every day seems like podcast day. I wanted to have a little more weight to that, but it didn't really work out very well. Mark gonna have a drink with Beatrix in Alexandria. That's actually pretty close. Pretty close. I bet Beatrix can pound a few down. She's probably a little prude though. I bet she doesn't drink. I mean, she's a paladin. Mino set the server on 6-hour slow mode. Did he really? That's hilarious. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no talking in Discord. It's time to talk in chat. Mark, did you buy the costumes after they temporarily stopped the cap? Katsufumi asks. Excuse me. I did buy. I renewed my Moogle pass, and I did buy Rem's costume. I will, if I can renew my Moogle pass again, I will probably do that, and then I will be buying Laguna's costume for sure. Assuming I can still do that, the cap is not implemented. I will do that. I'm not sure about the weapon gloss. It's for a bow. I already have a bow weapon gloss, unless it's like super awesome. I'm not necessarily. Would you share a drink with Fang in Alexandria? Randall Thor, thank you for the subscription. Oh, no, that was Raw Life. Thank you for the gift sub to Randall Thor. Randall Thor, shout out to the live stream, Defo. That's Raw Life. Give him some love for giving you a free sub. And if you hook your Twitch username to our Discord, you can get in all those fun channels for a little while. For a little while until you renew your sub yourself. Because you'll be so excited by everything that you get by subbing to us. But no, the answer is not Fang. Alexandria, I mean, yeah, partially right. I mean, I'm a little more detailed than just Alexandria, but I drink. It is not. I'm going to be, no, that's not true. It is one of my favorites. It is not any of the ladies. Not any of the ladies on my favorites list. And the one answer, which may have been mine or may have been Mino's, is not on my favorites list at all. So I think they're both mine in retrospect. Would you share a drink with me in a hot air balloon? That sounds lovely. That sounds lovely. I've never been in a hot air balloon. I am very very fond of the idea though. Maybe would like to do that. That sounds like a good bucket list. I hadn't really thought about that. Hey, Daniel for the $10 super chat for my taxes next year. Yes, all of your contributions to the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, are taxable. Summon Biscuits, thank you for the resub. Tree Void, thank you for the resub. Hey, 19 months for Summon Biscuits. 8 months for Tree Void. What a great day. Thank you all for the support and the love. Belthier in Dueling City. Close again. Good, man. Yeah, put this on your, keep the receipt. Keep the receipt. And when we apply for I have done that before. I do know how to do that. Having started a non-for-profit organization from the ground up, I actually know how to apply for all that stuff. That's very fun. It's not something you learn in school or even seminary. Go figure. Jegrin in Type 0 world. Yes, Jovial Roger, 100%. Man, I'd get a drink with Jegron in whatever that world where the Type 0 characters are from. I don't even remember what it's called. Hey, y'all. Does Mino work the fry station good? There's nothing quite like working the fry station, friends. Talked about this before in great length. There is poetry to the fry station. There is majesty almost to the fry station. Really really, really wonderful. Actually, the fry station is just it's just a special experience. Leading the fire. It's good to have you with us. Hey, no Mander, how you doing? Captain von Bosch van Rosenbergen Gummitschibila Victor. Yes. Kane. Oh, final ASIM. Yeah, why are we talking to Discord? Get off Discord. It's time for the show. It's time to play the music. Thank you for the resub. 22 months. You missed a couple there, apparently. 3 months in a row. Poetry in motion. Poetry in motion. I've never been to Raylos Pendragon. Gotten a gift sub from Soraya the Ranger. Thank you much. Thank you much. For all the love. I assume at this point we're probably in a hype train, aren't we? Yeah, we were in a hype train. I was in my other window, so probably couldn't figure out how to split those up. So I can see them both at once. The magic of the internet, but who cares? You know, who cares? Doesn't matter. Every single in and out to see. No, we know where Minos one. He works in the big one by LAX. So, Broadway, the Broadway, 40, the Broadway saying just re-subbing to the Crystal Chronicles. Shout out to our good friend 40, the Broadway saying. Expert cook, musician, father and husband, overall stand-up guy. Ain't nobody nicer than 40 the Broadway saying. Glad to have you here with us, buddy. Check out the live stream. Not live stream. Fuck. They all run together. Check out the fireside chat. That you can check out on various YouTube channels. And, of course, check out 40's YouTube and Twitch. Thank you, Raylos Pendragon, for paying it forward to Dysobia Bard. Bard's hiding in there. And thank you, The Laughing Man, for resubbing. All of the subbing. Someone is offended. No one's offended. The Fireside Hour. The Fireside Stream. Paul. Yes, we are here. We are excited about DFFOO. Are you excited about DFFOO, internet people who are real people spending your time listening to this right now? How crazy is that? How crazy is that? King of Fighters stream. Yes, welcome to the special King of Fighters stream. King of Fighter Tournament Edition 2022. Got to get your ladies with their bouncing backs. Hold on. Hold on. Hold up. Hold up. Please be careful when you close the door, okay? I'm back, baby. We're all back. Yes, we're here for another night, and there is something to be excited about. There's joy. There's adulation. But let's enough of this. Let's start the damn stream. How about we do that? Mino, are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Let's start the show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome everyone to episode 191 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, bringing you all your DFFOO news and talk every week, or every other week, or whenever we feel like it, because it's life. Deal with it. Well, I'm Mark, and I'm so glad to be here on this March 24th, 2022. But I am not alone on YouTube and Twitch, where we stream every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure to like, sub, ring the bell. Become a member. Sub on Twitch. Super chat. All that stuff. Like us on your favorite podcast app. I'm joined by my good friend and yours, Mino Spellgood. Mino, how are you?
I don't want to be here. Ah! Back to you, Mark.
Thank you. Mino Spellgood does not want to be here, but he is because of his love for you. Because of his love for you. Well, last week, our TCC intern, Poto Cedar, gave us some wonderful trivia before the show. Which feature did TCC think would never be implemented in the game? And of course, the answer was the 10-ticket pull button. Yes, there was a time when there was no 10-ticket pull button, those of you who are the proverbial new player, and it was awful. And that's why we all had so many tickets, because we never wanted to pull tickets, because it was awful.
Yep. That's bullshit, because we didn't have the divine summons that gave 440
That's true.
tickets.
That's true.
You take that event out, and you're not... Because with that, you're averaging 600 tickets a month now. Without that, you were down to like 200, 300 tickets a month.
That's true.
So people who capped tickets back then...
Yep.
So people who capped tickets back then were true degenerates like Jin Lee. So I don't want to fucking hear... oh, we were in such a bad spot without 10-ticket pull back then. It was super manageable back then. All right, we just got an explosion of fucking tickets moving.
Well, Squex is concerned with how we manage our resources, so that is important. This week's trivia is, which Final Fantasy character would Mark have a drink with, and in what world? I believe I gave 2 answers on an old podcast. So which Final Fantasy character would I have a drink with? Drink. That's all. We're talking drinks. And in what world? Most of everyone in the pre-show completely got this wrong. So, our minds are all in the gutters. That's not what we were talking about today. So, news of the week. The big news soon after, of course, because Squex hates us, soon after our show last week, there was an in-game notice. I'm not sure that it's even there. Yes. No. Yep, here it is. It was on the 19th. So not long after our show last week, we got the notice in-game of the postponement of the purchased gem limit. Now, they did not tell us why there is a purchased gem limit. They did not tell us that they were going to get rid of it. All they have said, if you're listening online and you don't read your in-game notices, because of course you don't, after careful consideration, we have decided to temporarily postpone the implementation of the 300,000 purchase gem upper limit for the global version of Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. This postponement will continue until an appropriate solution for gem management is determined, at which point the 300,000 purchase gem upper limit will be implemented alongside it. Please note, however, that if we determine that an appropriate solution for gem management is not possible, the 300,000 purchased upper limit will be implemented regardless. We apologize for the confusion caused, and we thank you for your understanding, Mr. Squex. So, unlike Multiracial Lion, who was on the Ranting Hour last night, you can check out the Ranting Hour on Black Nero's YouTube. I do think this is a victory. The people said, hashtag stop the cap. We let you know, we let Squex know this is not acceptable, and they kicked it down the road a little bit, kicked the can down the road a little bit. So that is worth a victory lap. That's worth a little bit of celebration. But reading the language, which Mino and BC got into last night, just kind of this epiphany of they're still clear 300,000 is the cap. The cap will be instituted regardless, but they hope to have some kind of solution to gem management. So they've created a problem, gem management, which we don't know what that is. And they're going to find a solution to it. If you're listening online, I just used a lot of quotes because that's all bullshit. Mino, I know you talked a lot about this last week, but our podcast audience and our listeners haven't heard your take on it. So what are your thoughts on the announcement of the postponement?
Now, fuck that. Go watch the Ranting Hour. I'm not doing it again, but I want to take this opportunity to say that first, devil's advocate, the way they use gem management, I see a lot of my fellow CCs taking this out of context. The way it's worded, we can give them the benefit of the doubt. It says, please, however, that if we determine an appropriate solution for gem management is not possible. Yeah. This is saying, like, if they could implement a way to spend your paid gems, that's part of the gem management, right? They're saying, okay, we're going to look into ways of managing your paid gems so you can buy shit. If that's not possible, we'll install the cap. So the most generous take possible. A lot of my colleagues have been harping on this gem management wording. Everyone's saying, what does gem management mean? But I'm going to say the most generous interpretation of this is that they're using gem management as saying, if we can find a way for you to, manipulate your paid gems so you're not at fucking cap forever.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair interpretation.
Yeah. So I do want to throw that on the table. I don't like smear campaigns, right? So let's get all our facts straight. So I'm going to say, like I said yesterday on the Ranting Hour, I'm approaching this with facts only, no speculation. I'm so sick of the fucking speculation. I don't want to hear why you think the cap is being put in, because it doesn't fucking matter. It's being put in. So I don't care if it's a law or regulation or anything or any bullshit fantasy you guys come up with that has zero basis in reality. So let's deal with the facts here. So I wanted to establish that. So let's say that they're not saying the cap is implemented because they need to manage our gems. Let's say that they're talking about how can we use paid gems, or okay, that's fine. So that being said, I said this before, I'll say it again. If your disclaimer is longer than your actual message, you're not fucking saying anything. All right, okay, and just to fucking sum it up, because I don't want to spend too much time on this. I talked for an hour yesterday about it. We asked for any means of communication, period. They gave us that. They gave us the bare minimum. A message was sent out. This is communication from the team. They are postponing the cap, so I am postponing my tirade. Like, I'm still not happy about this. It's still not resolved. But because they at least gave us the bare minimum of saying, here's the bit of communication you guys wanted, and let's push back the cap a little bit. I mean, I'm still, I think earlier Katsufumi asked Mark if he was still buying. I'm not buying. I renewed my Mog Pass. I renewed the basic Mog Pass. I didn't get the premium, and I didn't buy the costumes, and I don't plan on getting Laguna costumes now. Because to me, it's still very easy for them to implement the cap next month, the month after.
Anytime. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, no, I'm not supporting it until we get a definitive answer. So I've basically stopped spending, but I will get the basic Mog Pass because Divine boards are here. So here's $5, Squex. But I'm not spending until there's a definitive answer on this. I'm still not happy. I'm still moving towards quitting or doing the podcast less. And in general, like, when the cap is installed again, or if it's a for sure thing, I'll pick up the pitchfork and fight again. I'll fight when it happens, but right now we're in limbo, so they put a whole pause to this. This is a timeout in the middle of the game. So if they want to pause this gem cap, I will pause my constant fucking tirade against it. But it's not over, and if it comes back, I'll be right back on the wagon. And really briefly, Mark, so, I was telling Lion yesterday too, I admire the people who are still fighting, who are still upset about this, and still pushing Squex for answers. You guys are the real heroes. I'm just beyond that to a point of apathy that I'm not going to do it, but I support that. I think that's the right thing to do. I'm just personally more defeated at this point and saying, fuck it. I'm on my way out.
Well, apparently Indolent Lard has a Twitter account at Stop the Cap to continue. No, it was just a mistype, but start that Twitter that Twitter account, Stop the Cap, and we'll be retweeting you all the time. But it is, it is nice. It's one of these funny things. The way I interpret this is, it's a problem they created that they're saying that there's no solution to, but they obviously can kick it down the road, which means they can potentially just never implement it. That becomes very clear, right? In what's happened in the actions, not in the word. Because this was implemented in JP. It's not been implemented in global. They kicked it down the road a little bit. They postponed it. They put a timeout, which means they probably don't have their hands tied, and somebody could make a decision to just wipe this all away, but we will wait and see what their solutions were. I would encourage you, continue, if you do love the game, if you're still excited about the game, continue to keep the dialogue up in respectful and meaningful ways, and we'll wait to hear what it is, but that's probably most of what we're going to, until we hear anything else, that's probably most of what we're going to talk about it on here. Fade into Gaming, thank you for becoming a member on YouTube, and again, always, can become a member on YouTube or sub on Twitch. Appreciate that. And if you want to input what you say, you can just give us a gift sub and write your question in there or do a super chat, and we'll be happy to answer your question on stream. Well, there's a couple other announcements, some bugs, known issues. Beatrix is acting up. The Clim Hazard and Clim Hazard Plus not triggering the follow-up attack Rose Petals on enemies afflicted with the debuff Rose Petals when Crystal Passive Clim Hazard Extension 2 is equipped. So that's fun, I guess. It's a weird thing. I don't know how that happened, but yes. Figure that out. But hopefully they'll fix that. They probably will, because that's kind of the way things work. In terms of things you can buy if you are interested in supporting this company that doesn't want your money, mostly rerun at this point. So there's no new things to buy yet. No new costumes, no new packs. I guess there is a BT book pack, but I'm definitely not going to be buying any of those kind of things. Like I said, I think I'm just down to one costume in the Moogle Pass this month. And Theologica, thank you for continuing to be a member. 5 months, one of the early adopters on YouTube. Appreciate that. So, we also got stream rewards. So, woohoo! Stream rewards. Well, we don't have a lot to talk about today, so that sucks. But it is what it is. You know, watch me run my quests here. But we did have a Squex community. Watch me do Mog's Gym. We did have a Squex community stream. How exciting is that? The Squex community stream did not address the cap issue at all. It was basically, you got the in-game announcement. We don't have anything else to tell you. Please don't be mean to us. And I thought everyone was fairly respectful and got distracted by puns. And we got the announcements of the month. No new surprises, but we do have some exclusive GL events in these spring campaigns. We are going to get 12 free multis because that's a great way to manage our gems by getting all the crap for free and not having to spend any resources. So every single banner this month is going to be free. There are 12 total. The only one, I think there's 2 banners that we're not quite sure about that come on another one of the spring campaigns like this one that we have, which will likely have Charlotta and maybe Selfie, C90, Charlotta, LD. So besides that, and there's another banner with some rerun characters that we don't know quite what it is. I think there's an Orin Garland banner or something like that at that point. So maybe there's going to be something a little bit interesting there, but we will find out on the 11th when that campaign gets. Obviously, as we knew, there is Zach's cycle and Laguna's cycle, and the next Squex community stream will be on the 25th. And that was pretty much it. No new surprises. The big thing that was on stream was they did Chaos Co-op for some terrible and awful reason. I know, Mino, I know you watched the stream. Anything else that you wanted to add about it?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's transition to our Final Fantasy Spotlight. This week, you probably all know because you've all been playing it because you are young enough to play video games and have hands that can actually play action games. Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins came out. Jack Garland and the Warriors of something tackle problems in the world of Final Fantasy 1. I know Mino has been playing it. You want to give us your initial experience? Have you beaten it?
Yeah, I think I'm almost done. I only have a handful of levels left to do at level 300. Anyone who is playing the game will know what I'm talking about. But I love it. This is Squex's big hit for, their decade. One good game every 10 years. This met the quota. Sure, Babylon's Fall failed, and Chocobo GP failed, and Avengers failed, and Outriders underperformed, and
that was all. I guess that wasn't all last year.
Anamnesis closed down last year, right?
Yeah, Star Ocean.
Everything's failing. The Pixel remaster, but whatever. It's okay.
Pixel remasters are probably doing good, aren't they?
I have no fucking idea, honestly.
They are good though. I mean, the Final Fantasy VI Pixel remaster looks really well done. Some of the stuff I've seen from it, so
yeah.
I know some people would just rather play the original.
Right.
But yeah, Strangers of Paradise. It's good.
Yes.
You enjoy it.
Yes. I enjoy it very much so. Bonus points. I hope we can talk about it in the future, but
yeah,
the story seems to tie in very, very closely with the Dissidia universe.
Yes.
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because, Team Ninja worked on NT, and it's also written by Nomura, who did Dissidia and everything. So, it's very clearly, it could very well be the same universe, and Jack Garland very well could be our Dissidia Garland. And they talk about all, to minor spoilers, plug your ears, people. It's hard to spoil a game based on FF1, though. They talk about torsions in there and how, you can manifest anything with the power of light. I mean, with the willpower or whatever. And, the crystal, it's the same thing. They go through amnesia, the Lufanians. And it's very much the same universe. 100% it ties into Dissidia without conflicting with anything. And so I'm saying, anyone who's interested in Dissidia lore, I don't know why I'm so interested in Dissidia lore. It's terrible, guilty pleasure of mine. Strangers of Paradise 100% ties into Dissidia. They even explain how they can pull locations from other Final Fantasies into, one location. There's a lot of little lore things in it. And you have your Lufania logs and everything. Yeah. Fun game. I hope Mark can experience it. Everyone in our small circle who's been playing it love it. It's like Nidre's been trying it. I know Goose, Black Cloud, they've all been having a blast with it. I really, really recommend it if you like action games, and I really hope that Mark would be able to play it. I know, can't really hold a controller much, but
yeah, I have problems with button mashing kind of games, so I can only play for so long. So I like fighting games these days, like Devil May Cry kind of games, even games like Kingdom Hearts anymore are very difficult for me to play. So I can use a controller fine, but I just have limited playing Spider-Man. If I play Spider-Man for an hour, I'll be 3 days, my hands will be throbbing in pain. So my tendons. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But
your kids do it.
Yeah, I will make the kids play the adult Final Fantasy game for me. But yeah, check that out. It's on PC and both of the PlayStation and Xbox. So it's on Xbox, right?
I don't know.
Is it just PlayStation 5 or is it PlayStation 4 too?
PlayStation 4 as well. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, I've heard mostly good things about it. There is a definite connection. I don't know when Jack Garland is going to be in DFFOO, but it sounded like soonish. The announcement in
I think
JP.
I think it's very soon.
Yeah.
The two hints we got. The first one was that they said Jack Garland and all his friends will
Yeah.
be showing up in DFFOO after the game launches March 18th.
Yeah.
And then the thing they said in the last announcement was chapter 11 of Act 3 will be the final chapter, and they're planning to introduce a very special BT character in there. So everyone thinks it's going to be Jack Garland coming up soon.
Well, it would definitely make sense for Garland to kind of make an entrance and
exactly
as the act ends and starts a new act.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hint at last show. But every guy, we're just talking SOP spoilers this week, guys. Just tune out. But right, like that's what I was gonna. I kind of hinted at it last week when I said, "Oh, it would be so beautiful. I'd be so excited if they tied in Strangers of Paradise. If this was a long con to introduce him back in the final chapter, because like Warrior of Light and Garland have gone missing this entire act,
right?
And they're due for a return at the end. Like this is Achilles in their tent. They they fuck off for an entire act for their grand return, and it would set up Strangers of Paradise so well, and Strangers of Paradise rife with amnesia, as every single Nomura story is.
Yeah.
Period. Every single one. I don't think you can tell a story without relying on amnesia. And if Garland and if this is about the villains all regaining their memory, right? This is Act 3 is all about the villains regaining their memories. If
and
Garland
their power. Yep.
Yeah, if Garland remembers that he's Jack Garland right when the act is ending and Strangers of Paradise comes out, what a beautiful finish, right? Like, if the master stroke, if this was what they were planning all along.
Yeah, it would be really cool and a good tie-in, and hopefully get some other people connected to the game if they don't destroy the game by then. Like if we're still playing it by then, because it's going to be a long time from now. But unless they do it early event for global and give us all the Strangers of Paradise characters, which would make sense, but they probably won't do that.
They said all of the playable characters in Strangers of Paradise will be in DFFOO.
Yeah, so the four main protagonists most likely, and then a couple potential side characters, because there's at least, is there 5 playable characters?
There's 5 playable characters, yes. Oh, also Yanoku says, so DFFOO ending in JP? No, they just said this is the end of Act 3.
Yeah, the end.
They didn't say this is the end of the game.
End
this
of
is the end of Act 3.
We're saying it would make sense if Jack Garland appears at the end of Act 3, moving into Act 4. And there's some tie-in to the Strangers of Paradise story, which has some similar themes to also the Final Fantasy XIV storyline as well, right? In terms of Shadowbringers into Endwalker, all that kind of stuff that I'm dealing with now.
Similarities in what way? What are you
just
talking about?
in terms of the balance between light and dark, and I'm trying not to spoil anything.
It's just Final Fantasy.
Yeah, just Final Fantasy stuff. Black Nero says Final Fantasy 14 count. Yes. So, which class have you been? Have you been doing multiple classes, or which class have you been playing as?
I really so move sets are based on weapons, and then classes just provide you passives. So I really like the spear and the dagger. You get to equip 2 classes at a time.
Oh, okay.
And my end game classes have been assassin and breaker. I know it's unintentional because in Neo they also had a break system.
Okay.
But in this game, very similar to Dissidia, again, maybe a coincidence, you can kill enemies through break damage or HP damage.
Okay.
So it's 2 different bars, and you can specialize in doing either brave break damage or straight up HP damage. So very interesting system. So Breaker is a class that specializes in doing as much brave damage as possible. And Assassin has poisons for HP. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to get too into it. This is supposed to be a DFFOO podcast, right?
Yeah, but who cares? About Devo. No, this is all connected. Thank you, an anonymous cheer, for your one ghostly bit. I thank you for that sneaky bit. And the only sound that I've never been able to figure out how to turn off. So yeah, everybody. Yeah, you know, unless you've completely given up on Squex in Team Ninja, go pick up a copy of Strangers of Paradise, and maybe if I ever figure out how to, you know, use a controller on my computer, I I could download it. I have thought about it a couple times.
Would you? I doubt mouse and keyboard would be better for you, but that is an option in the game.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
It's got to be rough though, right? Trying to play an action game with a mouse and a keyboard. I don't know. I've never really played an action game with a mouse and keyboard. This Final Fantasy 14's an action game. I die a lot, like Dark Souls. That's my Final Fantasy 14 experience. A lot of death, and starting over. So that cycle continues. It's all connected. What's that count at? Yeah. So let's check out Strangers of Paradise, and we'll let you know how that crosses over into DFFOO as the time goes by. Now, we do have a supporter corner question of the week. Again, kind of veering from DFFOO specifically into more general Final Fantasy. Hodo Cedar asks question 14 of our supporters, and you can become a supporter if you link your Discord or YouTube, or excuse me, Twitch or YouTube to Discord if you are a subscriber or member on those respective platforms. And we'll read your answers. So what's your fondest memory about Final Fantasy? What is your fondest memory about Final Fantasy? Feel free to chat about that in our online chat as well. Sir Alex says, has to be the landing on Dolet cutscene from Final Fantasy VIII. Oh man, that's such a great cutscene too. Red Cane, getting my first Nintendo Power Guide for Final Fantasy I. Red Cane is old. Like me, I remember that as well. Liz says, Final Fantasy VIII, ballroom dancing. Yeah, all these great fans. You know, you surround yourself with people who like what you like. Crush finally beating Seymour Flux. Mount Gagazette as a child. Even restarted the game because I couldn't beat him on my first run because the concept of needing to grind power up was alien to me. Awesome. Indolent, I think this is Indolent Lard. Indolent Lard! Beatrix stepping on me 3 times.
What? Oh, okay.
Can't decide between witnessing Zidane going back to save Kuja, great scene, or the overall ending of 9, Tifa and Cloud on the live stream on Class 0. Spoilers, Indolent Lard. You spoiled all 3 games there. I just read 3 spoilers for 3 games that you're if you're listening, you should already know. VL says, I'm going to cheat and just write a book. Getting stuck at Walmart for 3 hours. My friend lying to me that I'm supposed to kill Midgard Zolom by summoning Chocobo. And his explanation was, the Chocobo will eat the snake for you, bro. Oh, that's awesome. And me and my friend laughing our ass off seeing the text, Renoa is lost in space forever. Please try again. Oh. That is a good one, isn't it? Renoa is lost in space. You might want to try again. She's just dead. She's gone. But she'll suffer. C-Sam says, Final Fantasy VI Floating Continent and its aftermath. The animation blew my mind. Monsters are actually challenging. There's permanent consequences. And the plot takes a hard left. It sure does. You can check out the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster. It's very exciting. Black Nero says, tied between Cloud and Tifa in Livestream and You're Not Alone sequence in 9. Oh man, great. I love that sequence. You're not alone. In the dungeon or in the prison in the skyship, right? Final Fantasy X spoilers from Final ASIM says at the end of the game, when the thing happens, that is sad. And you all know what it is. I won't tell the spoilers. I already spoiled like 6 games already. So we won't.
Is that when Tidus ghosts Yuna?
Yeah, that is exactly when Tidus ghosts Yuna.
Okay.
Blart Defo says Gala fighting off X-Death. Yes. I lost my own. Wow. Whew. This gets deep, folks. This gets deep from our friend Blart. I'd lost my own grandfather a couple months prior, so that whole scene struck a deep emotional chord for me, especially Creel at the end, inheriting his abilities as a material way to show that he was still with her. Much love to our friend Blart. Daddy, for a first time in his life. I think maybe, I don't know, he may have other kids, but maybe someday, Blart, you'll be a grandfather, and you'll die, and your grandson will play a video game, and a grandfather will do something great, and it will touch you, or him, because you'll be dead. I don't know how that works. So anyway, Raw Life from the live stream says Final Fantasy IX, Pandemonium in general. From all the huge character development and lore myths to the climax of You're Not Alone, peak fiction. Great. A lot of Final Fantasy IX love. Pons, being an 8th grader and obsessed with Final Fantasy 3, 6, here in the United States, or in the West in general. I remember fondly the early days of the internet and looking up hints and secrets. Stray Bead says about 14 things. Final Fantasy 8, randomly getting the end and using it on Omega Weapon. Final Fantasy VI, getting Crusader for the first time and nearly dying after using it. Daniel says beating Jet Bahamut, aka Caius, after having to try it a few times. I assume that's in a Final Fantasy game I've never played. No, I'm joking. Final Fantasy 13, 2 or 3? One of those. 2. No, 3. I don't know. One of those. I never played them. Telly says a normally calm and emotional Squall absolutely losing it in his spacesuit when he couldn't save Renoa. Asian Tudyk says Ramza finally getting the Dark Knight job, one-shotting every enemy and replacing Thunder God Sid as the strongest unit in the game. Bishop says beating Final Fantasy 4, the first one I completed. Jin Lee says Jessie crying over herself. Wow.
Crying over herself? Did I?
Yeah, there's a picture. There's a picture. In that one. It doesn't translate well to a podcast. Mistborn. What sticks with me most is playing Final Fantasy VII as an 11-year-old. It's 1 a.m. I'm in the Shinra building seeing Genova through the glass for the first time with the background music and cloud glitching haunting. Blind Eye says Final Fantasy X when Auron gave his speech versus Unalesca. Afterwards, seeing Tidus, seeing Sin, and talking to Jet about him finding a different way to end the cycle. Materiabot says Seymour's better than Jet, by the way. Theological cried like a little bitch during Final Fantasy X's ending. You're like all little kids, right? When you played Final Fantasy X, I was a grown-ass man. And I still cried. No, I probably did cry. Tree Void says beating Bartanulus for the first time in 13 was a big difficulty jump compared to the rest of the game at that point. Well, thank you all for giving us something to talk about on this terrible day in DFFOO history. And if you want to have me read stuff from you, there's some really good ones in there. Give us money, and that's how that works. That's just anime. That's just anime. Just anime. Hey, we got an event.
Aren't you going to answer a question, Mark?
What question? Oh, what's my fondest memory of Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Oh, man. What's my fondest memory of Final Fantasy? I didn't even think about the question very truthfully. So yeah, it's probably 9 for me. And the same scene that was mentioned, because that was really the first Final Fantasy game, like as a older teenager, early young adult, that I kind of played through completion, and got 100%. I got all the stuff. I'd played Final Fantasy 1 as a kid. I had kind of played the other ones early on here and there, but I don't know that I necessarily played them until completion, until years later. Even 7 and 8, I would go back and play those kind of after 10 came out, I think, and I owned a PlayStation 2 and went back and played all those games kind of really digging down deep. And so 9 was really kind of the first one that I have vivid memories of. Like I remember scenes here and there from the other ones from 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, kind of growing up, but I really, really have fond memories of 9. And definitely, yeah, moving into the end of 9. 9 was really cool. And my favorite scene is Alexander being summoned. I mean, that's like my favorite Final Fantasy scene in Final Fantasy. So that's why I was very excited with Garnet's BT, because that's literally my favorite Final Fantasy scene. It was really cool. Mino, what's yours? It's probably from Final Fantasy 14. Tell me.
Fuck you. My earliest memory of FF is Final Fantasy 1 was literally my very first video game. But even before then, I have like memories of a child who could barely speak, right? And I remember in my crib when I would wake up cranky and crying, the only way my dad could get me to go back to sleep is he would have to turn on and play Final Fantasy. And I remember 1 and I remember 4, which was the US's 2, right? And so I vividly remember he did so many playthroughs of FF4. It's ridiculous. And like he used to also I was too young to understand the story, but he at that age he would also make me watch a lot of professional wrestling with him. I had a terrible childhood. And so he would explain FF4's story.
Makes a lot of sense.
He would explain FF4's story to me through WWF wrestlers. I don't know how accurate it is to this day, but I have imprinted in my memory like 1-to-1 comparisons of FF4 characters to wrestlers, right?
So walk me through that. Cecil is Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan, yes. So Cecil's Hulk Hogan. I don't know why. And Randy the Macho Man.
No, I was going to say Macho Man is Kane. Yep. Okay. Yep. No, I'm with you.
See, how is this so universal?
Yeah. I'm with you.
Oh my god.
I'm with you. Yeah.
And then he told me. Golbez was the Undertaker,
yeah,
right?
Obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god! Like, why is this making sense to Mark?
No, this is great.
This doesn't make any sense to me. This doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm just saying, like, he used to explain to me FF4's story through old school WWF wrestlers, because when I was a very little kid who could barely speak, all he did in his free time when it wasn't like working or studying was professional wrestling and Final Fantasy. Those were his 2 vices. So like I grew up, I remember as a baby I was pacified through watching him play Final Fantasy. And then my very first game was FF1, and all I did was fight Garland over and over, because when you're like 4, I remember playing the very first time I played Final Fantasy 1 was when I was 3 years old. And I remember for the first couple of years, first of all, I didn't know how to save the game. So, like, because, like, you had to, go to the inn and do all this stuff. You had to read. Like,
right.
I couldn't play the game at all.
Right.
All I did was, like, fight goblins and wolves outside and fight Garland and then, like, reset and do it over and over every play session. So, like, there was that. And then there was FF4, and that's what I grew up on. And I remember him comparing every single FF4 character to a wrestler. And, like, it's blowing my mind right now that Mark could, Now Mark says that makes sense, because that doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
That's exactly what I was thinking. As soon as you said that, I'm like, yep, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man. Makes perfect sense. I don't know.
I don't understand.
Gut reaction. That's
doesn't make any fucking sense.
Immediate gut reaction.
Holy shit.
Yep. That's just my immediate gut reaction.
So that's my fondest memory of Final Fantasy.
You still talk to your father?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to pause for a second. I wasn't sure where Mark was going with that question.
No, it's just information, for the audience. Just
I don't understand.
Make sure the relationship's still intact. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your dad could have been snorting coke off of prostitutes' butts and making you watch that. So, yeah, you had a pretty good childhood, I'd say. Final Fantasy and wrestling, that's a big part of my childhood, and it should be part of everyone's childhood. Final Fantasy and wrestling entertainment, there's nothing that quite goes together like that. Now that's way too many tangents. We actually have an event to talk about. An event, but there's also, as you've seen on stream, if you're watching, make sure you get your double quest cycle rewards for your crystal quests, just to run those, because you'll get some free stuff because they get reset. But we did get an event. We got a special. Now, I believe, Mino, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe in Japan they did not have these banners with Cloud and Squall. They just got a renewed Start Dash banner. Do you know? Can you confirm or deny that? Maybe any of our folks who play JP can confirm or deny that on chat.
Yeah, that is correct. They got the rerun of the Start Dash banner, and that's why. Did you see that stupid meme battle description? They even allude to that. I want to say somebody, like a million people sent it to me. Guys, I appreciate the love, but I can also read the in-game notice. Actually, that's not true. I would not have seen this if people didn't send it to me. Let me see. So when you look at battle tips for the fight, so it says cloudy with a chance of. Oh, if you could open up on your game. I don't know if you're streaming the game
I can.
right now.
Yep, I am.
Yeah, and it says Dissidia Spring Weather Report, cloudy with a chance of squall, but absent the usual accompaniment of lightning. As the allusion to the Start Dash banner that was supposed to run. Do you get it?
Yes. I minus lightning. Yeah. So.
It's
Yeah. Here we go. Cloudy with a chance of squall, but absent the usual accompaniment of lightning. So
right.
Whoever, I don't know if you're listening, if you're watching, if you ever read these tips, some of these tips are really hilarious. I don't know who writes these. It's whoever, and Joshua mentioned it, right? Because I'm sure it's the same dude who does the fight names. Cloudy with a chance of squall. I'm sure it's the same dude. And it's. It's not funny enough to be an actual woman, so I'm assuming it's a guy.
What does that even mean?
I just think women are pretty funny, comparatively. But anyway, so whoever it is, regardless of gender, who writes these things, that is not their full-time job. Joshua was very clear about that for some reason on the Squex community stream. He made it clear. Crystal and I do not write these, and the person who does, it's not their full-time job. That was a very weird tangent and information that he threw out there, but I assume the person that does come up with these titles also writes these little tips, and every once in a while, they're pretty funny, or punny, or dad jokey. So.
Like those, you heard those rumors, quote unquote rumors of those, old school Disney animators who worked ungodly hours, so they took their frustration out on the animation with
put dicks in the
yeah. Like what is it? Like the Rescuers had legit porn put into it.
Yeah, one
that was real.
Yeah,
these were not just rumors; these were real. And so I figure, Josh points out. And this is common sense to anybody that knows the industry, that this is not this guy's full-time job to do translations and localizations. Right. Because you can't make a fucking living doing translations and localizations for a single game, right? These people need to work on tons of projects at a time to make a living. It's like a voice actor. You can't just do one voice unless you're Homer Simpson or something. You need to be in a million fucking things. So I understand that if you're doing this all day in, day out, no context, multiple projects to relieve some steam, you have fun with it. And so I'm sure he was having fun with it, and Josh has to tell us, guys, this isn't us. Please don't send hate mail. And this isn't this guy's full-time job. Just let it go. Just let it happen. Yeah.
Yes, Final Asim, it is sexist because I said that women are funnier than men, and that is sexist against men, and I apologize. for all of my male comics out there who are oppressed in their in the thing that they have dominated for quite a few decades. So feel bad about that. Yeah, but we did get a couple banners. They are 2 new banners. One is Cloud and Vane BT Plus, are both BTs on this banner, and one is Squall and Cloud of Darkness. So, Mino, any thoughts about, what is there really value to a double BT banner? We've talked about triple BT banners, but is there really value to a double BT banner?
So I don't know if I'm not I'm not fluent in math enough to know if this is actually if 2 double BTs banners are better than a single triple BT banner.
So the
So
chance of a burst is 6% on these banners versus 3% on the other banners. So you technically have twice the chance of getting a burst on these banners. I believe if
but on
that's
the triple BT, it's 9%. So is 6% twice
Yeah.
better than 9%? I think is the real question.
that
And that's a tough
that's a
man.
math nerd question.
Exactly right. And I'm saying like so these banners make me a little suspicious.
Oh, are
Because
these are triple LD banners too? Henshu is saying, yeah, they are triple LD banners. So yeah, the one has Cloud Vein and Ida, and one has Cloud or Squall, Cloud of Darkness, and Kate Sith. They're actually, not terrible banners.
Right, they merged
Very
they merged
truthfully.
two seasonal banners. So originally there was going to be a rerun with you know how we have those returning BT, so it was supposed to be Vane BT and
Yeah,
Ida.
correct.
So it was supposed to be Vane BT and Ida, and it was supposed to be COD with Kate. And instead of putting a third banner, which was the Start Dash banner again, they just put Cloud and Squall on each. Whether this is a better deal or not is beyond my pay grade.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it is nice. You get a chance at 6 different LDs, right? And 4 different BTs. I'm just suspicious, and hopefully somebody listening out here good enough at math will figure out the answer. But I just remember that the last fireside chat they were talking about, they reminded me how bullshit the removing Tidus's BT from the Setzer banner was in the middle of that cycle. And then I completely forgot about that. But they're right. They listed that as among the list of their grievances with the DFFOO team. And I was like, shit, I forgot. Yeah, that is like purely a greedy move. There was no reason to do that other than to get people to pull more. And I'm saying, like, is this that situation? But also, 6 available LDs seems like a pretty good deal. Combining 3 banners into 2? I mean, there's got to be an upside to that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I not terrible. I will say, I think Japan had 5 banners with Zac BT and 4 banners with Laguna BT. We will have 4 banners with Zac BT and 3 banners with Laguna BT, the way the events and the campaigns fall into place. So, I mean, if you're going down
a campaign banner that had an unspecified BT, could that be Laguna's 4th?
No, they said it would be a different, I believe, and that's with Zac still. So that's on Zac's cycle, but it will be a different BT. And remember, JP got Alizé and somebody else at this time who we already got.
Yeah.
So we got 2 early. Oh man, I can't remember who else. Who else do we get early? Alizé.
We got Alizé early. We got Lillicet early.
May have been Lillicet. I don't remember. Oh, Bosch. Yes, Alizé and Bosch. Thank you. Chat. Those were the Callie and Leaf Blade Mouse. Thank you. Those were the 2 that they got at this time on those banners with some with Zac and Laguna as well. So, but yeah, interesting, and it is what it is. I mean, I have all of these weapons. I have all 6 of these LDs. I have all 4 of these BTs. Did you pull on any of these banners to pick up things you were missing?
Anything on these fucking banners. That's what I was upset about.
Yeah, no, me too. I would pull at this point. Even tonight, like
Pull on every banner.
Yeah,
But there was nothing new on these
like
banners.
at this point, sub campaign, like there's nothing for me. Like unless you want me to pity a BT book, there. unless you want me to throw gems, to get dupe BTs. There's really nothing to pull on. So, but we did get 2 characters that I guess we should talk about. It probably won't take time. We didn't get new characters. We got upgrades. Cloud and Squall got an upgrade. Squall gets his C90 and BT Plus. He gets more dumps like a truck, and his BT Plus gives the party attack and also some more brave damage limit. That's all it gets, but he does more damage. So that feels better. Omnislash feels real good. The 12 dumps that does. That's real fun. Other than that, he doesn't change at all how he plays. All of his attacks do a little bit more damage, and that's nice. He is definitely viable. But yeah, his BT effect not super exciting. And didn't get much of a boost besides now you can do it twice, and it's 6 turns, and you get a little extra boost. Anything about Cloud, Mino?
Cloud actually feels pretty good
He
now.
does. No, yeah, I greened them both. Both these are green.
Yeah, his damage is pretty damn competitive.
Yeah.
But he just feels good to use now. Like with that much damage on top of his existing utility, the paralyzer launches the delays, like it feels good to use Cloud. And I don't find myself saying that often. Usually I think he's too slow to warrant the damage output he has, but now his damage is very good. So I think Cloud is in a very good spot. Squall less so.
Oh, I actually disagree, but we can get to that here in a second. Okay. Excalibur, somebody did tell me that we should be pitying dupe BTs because apparently we have nothing better to do with our gems. So that's a good point. Cloud with his BT single target, it's single target with splash, but one target taking over 1 million damage easy with his BT. So Black Nero, why wasn't Cloud in the Millionaire Club?
I was gonna make that joke, but I thought that was sinking too low.
Yeah, no.
Clearly, Mark had no qualms going there.
I don't know. Squall also comes back and he gets more stuff. No, his normal skills aren't super great, but his follow-ups are ridiculous. And his EX is more damage. His burst effect lasts longer, twice as long as it does, with some brave damage up and HP damage up. And of course, it does that special splash effect. Again, not the greatest BT effect, but he is a damage dealer, and he's got that crazy follow-up. I think he feels good to play. I mean, he's one of my favorite characters, so is Cloud, but more so Squall. So I've used both of them with their ultimate weapon together separately on this event a few different times with a few different supports. I feel like Squall is doing more damage overall, especially the more targets you have. I feel like Squall's doing more damage just in my experience with that. And Squall's got the cap up, yes. So he's adding a little bit more. A little bit more to the party with the HP damage up than Cloud is, yes. Thank you. But I mean, I think it's close, and obviously Squall doesn't have a lot of utility besides he does have the HP damage cap up, the splash up. But in terms of his kit's very straightforward damage. Cloud does have some paralyzed launch delay, so he's got a little bit more utility. But I think both of them are solid. I think pure damage, Squall kind of wins out. But overall, I think you can make the argument that Cloud's doing great. So any thoughts about that? You feel like Cloud is doing a little bit more?
I feel like if I were a betting man, I would say Cloud is superior and he's going to be useful for longer, or viable / meta for longer. I do think both are in a good spot.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I would love to use Squall on, say, like 3 target fights. AoE is his specialty, but
yeah.
I don't feel like he really brings anything super special outside of that. Like two target fight, I might want Cloud instead. Right? Cloud has the AoE 2-turn delay, the launches, the paralyzes, his BT effect is a little more personal, but it's still very good. I know Squall has the HP caps, but other than that, his effect is not great, and he really is just hitting things at
Yeah.
that point. And even in this fight, you said you ran them both in this
Yeah.
fight. Like I want to say, like Cloud brings so much more in this fight. Let's
Oh
let's
yeah.
not talk about the orbs. Like
Yeah.
I know he fulfills the orb condition, but for example, like through thick defense, he can get extra damage in through launches. He can paralyze really if he wants to, and his BT effect just lets him regen like ungodly amounts, so that
Yeah.
at least he personally will be capping. I just feel like Squall brings more to the table.
Yeah, well, I would say in this fight, Squall or Cloud is bringing a lot more utility that helps the actual mechanics of the fight. Damage wise, I think just in my playthroughs, Squall was doing more, especially burst phase damage. If you're using that, even with all the setups and the launches and all that, Squall was doing significantly more damage in my playthroughs. But Cloud can do a lot of damage too, so don't say that he can't, because that BT finisher is ridiculous. So you can scale that thing up forever. But yeah.
Sorry, MTG Basilisk is asking, can someone explain the existence of the new Gem Exchange
Yeah.
4-star armor shop? Is this a GL exclusive thing?
Nope.
I'll start off, and then Mark can weigh in. No, this came in JP as well. What they're doing is they're removing armors from gacha draws. So like multi-pulls and ticket pulls, you will no longer get armor. But the rates won't change. So what you'll get instead is more shitty bronze and silver weapons. But basically, it's so that to dilute the pool of draws, right? Like you really don't need armors anymore. People actually kind of like the armor effect, so now you can spend 10 gems to grab it, 40 gems to max a unit if you really want to get their passive. Some of the passives aren't bad. Some are attack and max brave raises, right? Like, but it really is to just reduce the amount of things you have to pull for. And this was introduced in JP. I don't remember if like silver weapons also make it in the future, but it's a good thing overall because it just means less shit you have to pull for. I know a lot of new players probably don't give a shit about maxing 4-star weapons and armor, but I cared when I played, and I have all my 4-star weapons and armor maxed. I would be very happy
Yeah,
with this
me
change
too.
because there's a lot less RNG involved in maxing a character now, and you don't have to uh, a common thing that happened to me is that my inventory would be maxed out and it would be like an 80-20 split of armor to weapons because I keep forgetting to throw weapons. I mean, armor away. Like, you just get flooded with so many armors, right? Like, bronze and silver armors, like, holy crap, are they useless? But, right, like, it's just a little quality of life change, in my opinion. Do you have any thoughts on that, Mark?
Yeah, you can now just continue to buy armor, and you reduce your gem stash to a point where you can start spending money on the game again. So that's helpful. No, I have all my armors maxed, and some of them are really useful. So sure, add that extra artifact basically to your characters that you like, and that give that extra passive. In the end of the day, it may not make a difference, but you do. Some of these characters have so much crap, like Cloud and Squall. You start adding all those things up, and it does make a difference. So that's for sure. Squall can also have three. Also has 3 A sphere, so I think that's why he's better, because he doesn't have that stupid D and E sphere to worry about. He can just full damage with that triple A sphere. Hey, but there was also a Lufania Plus. Go figure. GL exclusive Lufania Plus. It's a fight we've had before. It's the stupid flower things. And they have a orb that is either kept the same by doing crit damage or ticked up by 8 if you delay by 2. So if you delay them by 2 turns, the orb counts up by by 8. And of course, Cloud does that with his LD. Cloud of Darkness does that as well. Kistis does that. Actually, quite a few characters delay by 2 turns now. But Cloud and
like 4.
Yeah, Cloud and
4.
Cloud of Darkness, both options here on this banner as well. You can bring Kate Sith for that crit damage bonus as well. But the thing about this is you don't want to give them too many consecutive turns. So if you're playing this right, or the way the devs intended, which
Hey, Mark, chat's jumping down your throat. I didn't listen too closely, but they're saying crits increase by 1.
Yeah.
You lose 2 per turn.
Oh,
crits
okay.
increase by 1, so that even if you crit, you're just losing 1 per turn. I didn't catch what you said, but that's what chat's saying.
Okay, yeah. So you. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. I see what you're saying. So you do lose. It does tick down. If you're doing crit damage, it still ticks down. Right. If you don't do crit damage, it ticks down by 2. So really, the best way to deal with the orb is to do the delay. But you don't want to give them too many turns, because if you give them 7 consecutive turns, or if you take 7 consecutive turns, they warp, they do their big attack, and so it's kind of a balancing act between delaying them and letting them act. Obviously, we have a lot of characters that can help with that. They have all the things they've done before in terms of their Toxify attack. Then they concentrate, they cleanse themselves quite a few times. They do the big AoE HP attacks. I do think they have some debuffs that they can put on you as well. They shake with the concentrating. I mean, nothing particular new, except, managing the orb and doing the delay. But a fairly challenging fight in the midst of garbage time, right? Although we have a lot of tools to handle this fight. Like I said, I did it a few times with Cloud and Squall and different variations with the 2 of them. Both of whom were synergy, but I think if I would have brought any other of my damage dealers with ultimate weapons equipped, it probably would have been fine or even easier, because they don't have a terrible amount of HP, and so you can do a big chunk of them, because your BT and your summon phase do not count towards that 7 turns. Yeah, trying to think of anything else that we missed. Mino, what are your thoughts about the fight? A lot of people use Beatrix, as Treevoid saying, Gladio and Beatrix. Saw a lot of Beatrix clears.
I super loved the fight for several reasons. I was gonna say that coming in, I was gonna say, hey, if it wasn't for the gem cap souring my mood in the game, like Squex, I would be your unpaid hype man.
Yeah.
you do little victories, I'll hype you up. I'll tell the player base, like, hey, this is a great step in the right direction. We should praise them. I was gonna come into this angrier, but I'm pretty fucking drunk at this point. I had a very long day at work, so I already started drinking hours before the podcast. I think I posted a picture in TCC. I think people think I'm kidding, but I was literally drinking during a meeting because I was just over it at that point. And so I'm in a pretty good mood now. And so there's so many things about this fight that I like, Mark. And if we were vain people, I would say Squex must be listening to our complaints, because it seems like they're addressing it with these GL first fights. First of all, we have 4 cloudy with the chance of cloudy fights this month.
Yeah.
If they each come with a Lufania Plus and a GL first exclusive fight,
It's awesome.
that's a treat. I'll live with it. This is garbage time, but if we get 4 fights this month that are, put up a decent fight, I'll be pretty fucking happy with that, to be honest. And like we said, just please shake it up more with more GL first challenging fights. It has this thing from the anniversary and Equinox that has really been popular among the hardcore players, which is a push-pull tug of war between the orb and the mechanics, right? Because what was it with the snakes in the last Equinox? It was hey, you need 3, 4+ debuffs or something to tick the orb, but once they have that many debuffs, they'll shed their skin and go crazy or something, right? Like fights like that, where it's a tug of war between the mechanics and the orbs. These are so fun. I wish all Lufania Plus fights could be like this, a balancing act, as Mark put it. Because here it's 2-turn delay to tick the orb up, but also you don't want too many turns. So you can't delay indiscriminately. You have to like plan it out, like how many attacks do what warps do I want to take? Do I just want to take it up here? Like these are the best kinds of fights, and I really worry we're in the minority here because
Oh yeah.
there's a Reddit thread out there super fucking mad about this,
Oh,
saying like,
I haven't seen it. Is it bad?
yeah, it's so bad. Like this is bad game design. They want us to delay the orb, but they fucking warp and hit us. If we delay too
Awesome.
much, like
Worse
this is
than
shit
Divine
game
Shiva.
design. Yeah, and like if this was
I don't know.
just rando Redditors, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be so mad. But today I tuned into a few of my streamers, some of the streamers I frequent, because this was a challenging fight. I want to see how other people dealt with it. And it broke my heart to hear some of these people say, this makes me miss garbage time. I wish like why did they have to put a hard fight in here? Like I really wish we could just bring whoever we want and snowball it. It breaks my fucking heart to hear people say this. I'm like, are we really so much in the minority that people don't like to be challenged in the least? Because I love this tug of war.
Yeah, no,
Fucking
I thought it was really good game design and very interesting fight. I didn't think it was particularly challenging, but you at least had to think about what you were doing, right?
yeah, you have to think
Count.
about it, right?
You had
Yeah,
to
you do have
count.
to think about it. Yeah.
Counting. That's fun.
Right. So it's not the hardest fight in the world, but it is a reminder of pre-garbage time. Like this would be a very average like Lufania Plus, right? Like I think one of the streamers I was watching today was saying 50 turn count, right? Like he's like, I haven't seen this since early Lufania Plus. Usually it's like 60 plus and it takes like 9 turns to kill. So like turn count was actually a threat this time for some people. And, like people were
Yeah.
freaking out a bit. I really like but this was a perfect fight design for me. As I think Goose said before, this is a level that all fights should be.
Yeah.
Which is if you want to stomp it, you can still bring Garnet Machina and make short work of this. Very, very easy to bring Garnet and crush it. I mean, that's apparent because if you visit the Call to Arms, everyone is saying, why are people saying this is a hard fight? I brought Garnet plus 2 other dead bodies and, deleted it. Yeah, like, this is more enraging than Aranea. I predicted this. People don't realize how hard Garnet is carrying because she's a support character, right? but, but, but if you want a challenge, it's very easy to remove Garnet or Synergy from the equation, and all of a sudden you have a pretty tough fucking fight. There's only 4 people that can fulfill the orb condition in the game, and then you have to bring a roll. We talked about this. Bring multiple rolls. You need to pierce the defense. That's either through Brave Gain or Defense Ignore, and then you need some mitigation because they're getting Toxify off no matter what. Even if you respect the rules, they will still recast and toxify. So like you have to check multiple rolls all along the ways. So good fight in that sense. And the new thing they tried this time that I very, very much admire is great sword requirement. Great sword requirement.
Oh yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, great sword requirement is a taste of more lockout. And like I said, I feel heard. I'm sure they probably don't fucking listen to us at all, maybe, but I am always saying more lockout content, lockout everywhere. Just fucking throw that shit fucking everywhere. I was like, you invented weapon types and never use it. Lock us out everywhere. And a great sword requirement is a very good first step in that direction because what an interesting thing to have to bring a great sword in a normal fight that already like limited people's options and made them think. That's why we have like Beatrix, who's a queen at this event. very like underappreciated until this event came out. You got people like praising Orin again. You know, when was the last time your average player used Orin because he's an off-turn character? Like, just the smallest weapon lockout changes how people approach the fights and make them revisit old ass characters that they wouldn't normally run in their no turn Garnet teams. So I think they did so many things right in this event, and at the risk of praising Squex, this is what we should get. And it's almost frustrating that we're only halfway through garbage time, because they're capable of these kinds of fights. They know how to make these kinds of fights, but we have to deal with the JP backlog of fucking 3 more months of garbage time. They'll sprinkle in these GL exclusive fights just to remind us, hey, we actually know how to make good fights, but you know, here's a Leviathan with an orb that increases as long as you reduce brave damage or evade it at all, and then the orb can disappear. You know, like, fuck it. You know, like what are these? What was JP smoking? Actually, you know what? I gotta move on. Mark, take it before I get mad at 5 months of garbage time. Why the fuck did they do this?
There are actually 8 characters who can do two turn delays. Not that you would be using all 8 of them, but there are actually 8 characters that can do 2 turn delays. Cloud of Darkness, Kistis, Sabin does have a 2-turn delay. Arnea is actually a usable option. Lightning, to some extent, her EX can do 2 turns. Cloud, actually Reno has a 2-turn delay, right? And then General Leo. And so I love those General Leo runs. But interestingly enough, this co-op shop is a little change from other co-op shops. We actually get 10 burst nuggets. If you do your co-op, 10 burst nuggets, and then there are shards.
Is saying Reno doesn't work?
Oh, Reno doesn't work? Yeah, because of how weird that his delay is. It's not great. Either way, plenty options. But you also have mighty shards for every color now. So I think from this point on, it won't just be the colors, or I don't know if it was this event only or just this event moving forward. You will get all the colors, not just colors for the characters that are featured. So Hanshu, yes, Reno doesn't.
And they said Cypher doesn't work. Did you mention Cypher?
I did not say Cypher, no.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think you said Cypher, but yeah, right. Cypher doesn't work, guys.
Cypher's one turn.
Yeah,
one
that's
turn.
Common.
Yep, 1 turn. Yes. So yeah, make sure you clear that co-op shop. There's a lot of good stuff, including those nuggets. That's it. That's the event of the day. Turning to podcast questions. I don't have any. The channel's empty, I don't.
What the fuck? Where are the questions, assholes? Daniel literally said today, I would submit this as a question, but I don't want to flood the questions channel. There's nothing fucking in here.
No, there isn't.
Ask your questions in fucking chat. We have another 30 minutes? Holy shit, it's only been an hour. Time's flying. I've been drinking a lot and talking a lot.
Hour in the actual podcast, hour and 13 minutes. We've been on air for an hour and a half, but just if you do have questions, feel free to write them in chat. If you have some questions, if not, a little bit of looking ahead. So we have Divine Leviathan on the. Did I get a haircut? No, my hair's just long. I haven't gotten a haircut in quite some time, like 6 weeks. So Divine Leviathan is on the 29th. The 1st is Rain's Lost Chapter. The 11th is that spring campaign with hopefully another Lufania Plus fight. Irving or Dimensions on Entropy Tier 8 on the 14th. Irving's Intersecting Wills on the 19th. The raid event on the 22nd. And Squex Community Mobile Stream on the 25th. Now, just a little conversation about the podcast in terms of I know there was some dismay last week as we were both a little bit discouraged. We are continuing on the podcast, but not really because we're discouraged, but somewhat because of the spacing of events, but also just because of holidays, and I actually have vacation again. Yes, I know I was just on vacation, but I have vacation coming up. I have a wedding out of state, And it's a pretty busy season, and Lent Monday Thursday is on a Thursday this year, interestingly enough. It always is. But so we will be planning to what did I say? Let me put this up because I shared it with Mino. We will plan to take next week off, so the 31st. We will not. That's my kids' spring break. We will not be doing a podcast on the 31st. We will be doing episode 192 on the 7th of April. So April 7th will be episode 192. We will cover the Zack cycle. Should be able to cover most of that on that episode. The next week, Monday, Thursday, is on the 14th. We will take that off. Then we will come back on the 21st for episode 193, and that will be mostly the Laguna cycle. And then we will take that following week off as I will be out of state for a wedding. And so that covers us for the rest of April. So there will be a podcast on the 7th and a podcast on the 21st. Just like the ranting hour, it'd probably be a little bit better for us just to do it every other week for a while during garbage time, unless there's any big surprises. If there are any things that pop up, I'll do some little videos here and there. If there's something you want to hear us do or say, let us know. But I think this is probably good for the time being. And we'll let you know as we get more information from Squex and as we're feeling what things are looking like. Raylos has a question.
I saw that. Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
With Boss Rush officially retired, and Six-Man, Shinryu, and Spirit is coming in the future, what kind of event game mode would you be interested in showing up? Mino, do you have an answer for that?
Sure. If you're talking about existing game modes, Crevasse is the easy answer. I said Crevasse is my favorite thing the game had ever put out. If we were to invent a mode, I don't know. But like I said, more lockouts, the better. I don't give a shit. Make a fucking 10-stage lockout content or something, but like even branching out into other gotchas, that is what makes them fun. Like massive amounts of lockout. If you're gonna have 170 fucking characters, you better make me use at least like 40% of them, right? Otherwise, like, what's the point of having so many characters? I think I was having this discussion today. I really fucking think that DFFOO's policy of having only one version of the character that gets buffed every tuning pass, while players may enjoy that, I think that's just shit for business. And
you either have to continue to make new characters, or you have to make leveling a character so incredibly hard that it's going to take forever.
Right.
And
I was saying, like, while players may appreciate that, if I were to make a gacha and run it as a business, I feel like this is the wrong way to do it. Like, I don't think you should have one character, because there's so many complaints in JP right now, especially Japanese-speaking JP. I don't read the comments of the people who don't speak Japanese and play JP. These are subhumans. I don't need their opinion. And so even the Japanese player base is complaining that there are no more good characters to pull for it. That they can't get excited over Dorgan and Minwoo.
Yeah, come on.
And then like what was before that? Like fucking I don't remember, but like they're like, oh, the new characters
Celeste.
are not exciting.
Yeah, Celeste was, but you know, it's not a new character. Yeah, new character.
Yeah, like Anna Crow.
Anna Crow.
Who's that stupid ass Turk from that game that never came to GL? Cisne.
Yeah, Cisne.
Yeah, like these are all nobodies, and we're gonna get nobodies until the game crashes. And like a lot of JP players, because I'm scouring those comments for GemCap reactions, a lot of them are saying like, what the fuck am I even playing for? I don't care about any of these new fucking characters. None of them. And then like the conversation goes, okay, well, who do you want? And they're like, well, there's only like a handful of characters left that people actually give a shit about. Maybe Red 13. Maybe Riku. But let's be real, nobody really gives a shit about Quina or Amarant. They just want them in. Nobody really gives a shit about FF4 Sid.
Thunder God Sid,
yeah,
Riku, Red 13.
we don't have that many characters left that are like popular. Like these are just characters people want because they're playable at this fucking point. And so I'm saying like the biggest complaint that I've been seeing on these forums is like, oh well, all these other gotchas like Brave Exvius and Fire Emblem Heroes, even though they rehash characters, it's still exciting to pull on a new version of Ike or a new version of Cloud,
wedding dress,
Ike, or a new version of Squall instead of fucking Minwoo and Dorgan. Like who the fuck? like to know that your favorite characters will never get a resurgence anymore. Just a new weapon.
And they should just do a new like costume that gives you bonuses or something.
Yeah.
Come on,
right. Like honest. Yeah. So I'm saying like. There was a clear study of gotchas that do well and gotchas that do terrible, and even if people hate that Fire Emblem has like 8 different Camillas right now, the point is they make money.
They got a lot more. Well, yeah, and it's interesting because Fire Emblem, I mean, really hasn't been as long running as a popular game in the West. But I mean, the global version of Fire Emblem, and Fire Emblem has become popular in recent years since but before Smash Brothers, like nobody here in the United States knew what the hell Fire Emblem was, right? Somebody's gonna actually, but yeah, shut up. Like most of us had no idea what the hell Fire Emblem was, and so I mean, it's hit a resurgence. But that game makes a lot of money, and you're right. Every week there's just 2 or 3 a whole banner full of new characters. Fade into Gaming, speaking of other gotchas, says, is there any other gotchas that you two play? I am currently playing Twisted Wonderland, the Disney husbando villain school anime gotcha, and also Idol Huntress, which is a waifu idol history gotcha. It's the worst kind of gotcha, but I am playing it. So those are the 2. Mino, you aren't probably playing anything else, right?
Play any other gotchas.
That's good.
This is so shocking to people. I fucking tell people this all the time. I don't play any other gotchas. The only 2 gotchas I've ever spent money on are Fire Emblem Heroes and then this. And I'm very confident that if I quit DFFOO, I'm not going to play another gotcha. This is like mind-boggling to people. I just don't this isn't a matter of addiction for me. I like the one product, so I'm supporting it. I don't need a gotcha in my fucking life. So, but yeah, no, I don't play any. What do I fucking play on my phone? Let me take a look. The only thing I play on my phone other than DFFOO is the Match 3 puzzle games.